Very, very exciting times coming in for Cosmos Health, ticker symbol COSM. As you guys know, I do not practice fundamental metrics, but when it comes to things like acquisitions or mergers or partnerships, you know I'm all over it. Please take a gander at this. Cosmos Health enters into a binding letter of intent for the acquisition of Dock Farm. Guys, look, read down here. Announced today. So this is COSM announced today that it has executed a binding letter of intent, an LOI, to acquire all of the outstanding shares of Dock Farm. Guys, this is incredible news for COSM, and it just so happens to be showing in the charts as well. Let's go ahead and get this started now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a ticker symbol COSM, technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis on this Thursday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining a trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, you guys, so yes, we are looking at COSM on the daily chart, and I have a few things to show you here. First of all, yes, we have been within this range right here, right? So don't pay attention to the triangle just yet. That is not what we're focusing on in the current second, okay? So just give it just a minute, and we'll go right back to it, okay? This has been essentially our chop zone for quite some time. Let's measure exactly how long that's been, right? So arguably from this candle here all the way to present day, you are looking at 87 days, 62 bars, right? So this is an immense amount of time of consolidation. If you are curious over what that total range has been, then you are looking at a total of about 87% up and freaking down for some time, right? So let's go ahead and just look at a few things, okay? First of all, let's get rid of this line and bring back this right over here. It looks like we have a descending triangle, right? So this descending triangle is amongst one of my, more I guess we can call it one of the favorite formations that I tend to call out because it does have mathematical properties and psychological properties, okay? Opposed to any other formation, literally any other formation in the trade, this does have those applications which we can look at for potential growth or for potential decline, right? So what we need to know is that any time, or actually, you know what, on average, when this triangle starts to actually, or the price action starts to approach about 70%, 65 to 70% to the apex of the triangle, a breakout would be happening, okay? So now we have three sets of bulls that are trading this, okay? Let's just say that we were to break out over here somewhere on let's just say Tuesday the 30th, right? It's not accurate. I'm not saying that we are. I'm just saying that let's suppose that we were. That would be the first set of bulls that would break out, right? So it would be taking a trend line from the hypotenuse of the triangle all the way to the bottom side of the triangle itself. And actually, you know what? There could be an adjusted trend line here too, because we do have, you know what? Yes, I'm going to go ahead and adjust it to like this right over here. Okay, we need this trend line to actually meet the bottom side of the range here. Okay, so right about there where we have this touch right over here, right? We have this touch right over here, and we have several areas of confluence within that area, right? So now let's just go ahead and adjust the breakout trend line here so that we can see exactly what we're talking about, right? So bull set number one, okay? The bulls here, they would take the price action to around 406, right? Taking a trend line from the breakout area to the hypotenuse of the triangle, right? And the second set of bulls would be this around the center of the triangle, right? So let's just say that it would be around here, right? So this would be the second set of bulls trading the upside, right? So right to the breakout area. Let's just go ahead and move it slightly to the right there, just so that we can kind of keep in line here the three sets of targets. The second set of bulls would take this to around 458, which just so happens to land perfectly with a lot of targets for 457, right? There you go. Please notice here, resistance touch there, resistance touch right here, all kinds of resistance there, right here, all these candles there. Guys, these are geometric targets already. Okay, now the third set of bulls, which would actually take the price action to an even higher valuation, would be taking the trend line from the top side of the hypotenuse all the way down to the lower end range of the price action, right? So in this case, now we can go ahead and evaluate the price action for that third set of bulls. which would be around 555, which already does have some type of confluence there with other price action. Resistance here, even support right down here, right? It's looking very nice. Very perfect support there and support here as well, right? Resistance and resistance. It's looking good on every single aspect that this triangle has to offer. At least these three targets are psychological targets, okay? Now, if we were to kind of back this with maybe some geometrics, then let's just go ahead and take into account the current range high to the current range low, from here to here, right? So now let's just go ahead and see what we have as far as the valuations, right? So, okay, so target number 1 is taking us right in between this target, right? The breakout from here. The bull set number 1, that would take us to around 407, which just so happens to be right in between the 1.272 and the 1.618. Very important target to face there, you guys, okay? As usually the price action tends to go to those areas. It would go there too because we have resistance from this candle right here, which would then create a potential higher high, and that would then start breaking market structure from this, and we can start looking at at higher valuations. Okay, now the target number 2 is landing right under the 2.272. Okay, right at the 2 fib. Very likely for price action to go there as well. And now similarly to the price action that we have right down here for target, or for the bulls, for bull number 1, right over here. Notice I was between the 272 and the 618. Right up here, the top side target is also between the 272 and the 618, and this would be the variety 3, right? So 3.618 and 3.272 landing perfectly at that 555. Okay, you guys, so this is already looking nice. And remember, usually at around 65 to 70%, we break out of this triangle. Okay, and these are the 3 targets to kind of keep an eye on. Let's go ahead and now look at something else, because I have something very interesting to show you. Okay, this is the IXHC ticker, which is the Nasdaq Healthcare ticker. This is the index that kind of keeps track over the healthcare stocks under the Nasdaq ticker. Okay, you guys, so I do have actually a couple of them first to show you, right? So let me just go ahead and see if I do have. There we go. So this is the price action of COSM on the monthly chart, right? So this let me just go ahead and show you what see how I'm blinding it. Okay, so this is the IHXC, right? So this is the index, and this is COSM right over here. Please notice the direct correlation that we're actually getting within the price action of the IHXC versus COSM. Okay, so now what I want you to notice here is that the IHXC index is already making a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? I know, I get this right here. This could look a little bit of a breakdown. It could look like kind of like a breakdown formation here, but it is the monthly time frame, guys. This is going to take some time, and also this monthly iteration here is a very strong hammer candle after a downtrend, which would essentially take us to an upside target. Okay, so what I want you to notice here is that it's very interesting that this is creating a series of higher highs and higher lows, and there was a bit of separation here from COSM, right? But now that we're getting this acquisition news, and now that we're getting this very bullish stance, it looks like we may be able to reacquire I guess the confluence between the index ticker and COSM. Okay, you guys, which is very curious that we're getting all kinds of signals to the upside. So in this event, we would then have to study the very, very short-term analysis for the healthcare index, right? Which means that overall, the healthcare sector under the Nasdaq may actually start seeing some upsides in the wider scope. Okay, so what I mean by this is, let's go to the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame and take a look at volatility versus momentum. Okay, so this is volatility here represented by this indicator BBWP, and this is stochastic momentum, which is going to give us the bias for direction on the asset. Okay, please notice that the healthcare index actually has an upside pivot on both the leading indicator the 3-period exponential moving average versus the 14-period simple moving average with contracting volatility. This is a setup already. Okay, let's look at the hourly time frame. We should have an upside there too. Please notice here, upside, just like we said, right, on that hourly momentum, we now have starting a contracting phase or a contraction phase of the volatility. Okay, you guys, that's very nice. Now let's look at the bi-hourly. So the bi-hourly is starting to get that little tiny kink right down there, suggesting that we could be ready for an upside continuation. We have to keep a close eye on this. Also notice that we're at critical maxed out volatility right in there as well, you guys. So what we want to see is the cascading effect starting from 30-minute time frame into the hourly, into the bi-hourly, into the 4-hour, right? And then this would likely continue cascading into the higher and higher time frames for a higher probability upside move. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and continue the analysis here because there is still some things to talk about. I understand the video is already 10 minutes long. Bear with me because this is a very important time for COSM as I do see upside coming in a pretty strong manner. Okay, you guys, this is the 5-day volatility versus momentum backtest. We absolutely have DMI support as well, you guys. The average directional index is at 35%. Anytime that the ADX white dotted line is at least 25% and up, that's already a strong trending market to whoever is leading the way. In this case, please notice the bulls are on top of the bears. So this is already a really nice statistical move. Out of six iterations, right? 6 out of 6 iterations total in the 5-day time frame, we have a 100% accuracy with a move that at least gives us a mean of 162.05% over the span of about 116 days, right? You guys, that the lower bound of the first standard deviation is at least a move of 78%, you guys. So now the top side move here would be the top side bound of the first standard deviation would be a 668 percent move to the upside. That 668% move to the upside, guys, happens to land exactly at the $23 target that we actually faced on that Black Swan event from the RS on December 15th, right? You guys, this is very, very interesting news coming in right now. Now, facing the daily Gaussian channel, you guys, in today's price action, please notice that we actually respected very well the bottom side of the Gaussian support. We went right down to that support and bounced right up, right, you guys? So now we printed a very actually, I mean, this is a lot of volume today, right? So in comparison to the other days, as we've been within the hundreds of thousands of shares traded, today it was an uptick of about 403,000. Okay, so now printing a very nice indecision doji, which is usually a tie between the bears and the bulls. Let's move on real quick, you guys, so that we can get this out of the way. Here is a very important thing to take a look at. Okay, notice that the 8-hour time frame is starting to actually curve to the upside, and notice that volatility is starting to expand right here, you guys. As soon as we do have that expansion from both the volatility component and the moving average above the 15% with an upside pivot of this, guys, that marks a very, very potent move to the upside. And this as well, we have been trapped under this 15 percentile for quite some time. We can see that the volatility is increasing because there are more shares being traded right now. Upon that condition, you guys, which first of all, we have ADX and DMI support. We have ADX at 28%, and we have the bulls leading on top. Very important. Okay, so as soon as that condition meets, upside of the 15 percentile with an upside pivot of both the moving average and the volatility component with the exponential 3-period and the 14-period simple with an upside pivot. Out of 9 iterations, historically speaking, right, out of 9 iterations throughout the entire trading history of the COSM asset on the 8-hour chart, 6 have been correctly guessed to the upside, giving us a 66.66% accuracy with an upside thrust of a 206.895% move over the span of about 6 days, right, just under 6.25 days. And that 206% move has a standard deviation of 382%, of which has has an upper bound to look at that is about 589.76%, which just so happens to be along the lines of that $23 valuation as well. Very, very interesting times over here, you guys, as it is suggesting some pretty nice targets to the upside. Okay, you guys, so please notice right over here, 580% to the upside, $23, just like we did right up here, right? Very, very interesting times here, you guys, as we have multiple time frames and multiple back tests suggesting a move that can actually lead all the way up to the upper bound of the first standard deviation to $23 on two very distinct time frames, 8-hour and 5-day. Okay, you guys, this is absolutely massive for the ticker. Let's go ahead and just look at real quick to finish off this analysis on the RSI, right? So 30-minute immediate short-term time frame, finding support from that SMA 14 pink line. We definitely have an upside coming in. We absolutely have the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile. Please notice down here that the bi-hourly time frame has a little bit of downside before it can face support from both the gravitational zone and the SMA 14 before a continuation to the upside. Also notice down here that the 4-hour time frame does have a downside continuation, but you can see two prior iterations that we've been bouncing from that gravitational zone. Very likely for us to find that soon. Okay, you guys, so just like the other time frames, guys, we want the RSI to start pivoting towards the upside, starting from the shorter time frames so that it can cascade into the larger time frames and then having a larger and larger move to the upside. Okay, you guys, so right now the RSI is still stuck in that little bit of consolidation phase, but that does not mean that stochastic momentum and volatility don't already see some potential moves to the upside. You guys, this is looking very, very juicy for ticker symbol COSM. I am absolutely a fan. Please remember first and foremost that I am not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool, okay, you guys? But with that said, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.